green button's on. Good evening. How's everybody doing today? Not too hot, is it? Kind of hot outside today, right? It feels good in here. My name's Kevin Chang. I'm the sheriff of Camden County. Newly elected back in January. I took office. And one thing that I promised during my campaign was to have quarterly meetings, and that's what we're doing. We're going to have quarterly meetings. I'm not big on microphones, so if I may walk around, may put the microphone down a little bit because I like to talk and move. I don't sit still. But I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Thank y'all for taking out time of y'all's busy schedule to come by and listen to what we had to say tonight. And my first quarterly meeting we talked about me coming in office, some things that transpired, but I also promised to bring the two chiefs here. Me, Ricky, which is Chief Evans, and Chief Galloway. We've worked together for many years, not just here in this county, but also in other counties as well. And I wanted to make sure they was part of this town hall meeting with us, and so they can bring all of us together, because it's all about us. It's not about one individual entity. It's about all three of us working together, what's best for this community and citizens of Camden County. So I thank them two for showing up and coming and being a part of this. At this time, I have two pastors here, Donald Belcher and Timothy Bessett. If Donald Belcher don't mind to come on up here, wherever he's at. So I have two pastors here that I know of. This part of my chaplaincy service. So I have a total of 5 of them. Mr. Bessett, you here? He stepped out. Mr. Belcher, if you would go ahead and get an invocation.
Absolutely. If I could go ahead and get you to stand with me if you have the ability to do so, and we'll go to the Lord in prayer, and following the invocation, we'll say the pledge to allegiance. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you for this day, God. I thank you for all that you've done for us. And Father, I thank you for the many blessings that you've given us in our life. And Father, I thank you for giving us strength and vitality in our bones. And Father, the breath in our lungs, Lord, that we're able to breathe and to serve you another day, God. And Father, I'm thankful for this time together. I'm thankful for the sheriff and the chiefs of police who are standing here, Lord, to give just an update and account on what's going on in their life and in their agencies, Father, and to field those questions, God. And I pray that this time is a productive time, Lord. And God, I pray that you would continue to give them wisdom and knowledge to rule their agencies and run their agencies well. Father, I pray that you would just give them the wisdom and knowledge to lead their people and strive to do good and to stand upright before you, Father. Lord, to seek justice, to love mercy, and Father, most importantly, to walk humbly before our God. We love you. We praise you. It's in the name that's above all names that I ask and pray, the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chair, thank you.
Yep, thank you. I have a lot of command staff in here too. My jail captain is in here, Eric Watson, if you would stand up. I have my executive secretary here, Miss Amanda. Would you please stand up? Tammy works in the back in the finance. Captain over 911, Miss Holly Douglas. Dalton Vernak's in the back. He's my PIO. Jared, if you don't mind standing up, he's also inside my finance department. Dale Williams, he's part of the Marine Patrol Division and other divisions inside. He's a jack of all trades inside the agency. Mike Walker is captain over CID. You have Danny Sykes, which is my chief deputy, and Vinny Pasquarelli, which is part of my training officer. Shannon Manning, which is part of our drug task force, and you have Todd Iverson from St. Mary's Police Department. He's the deputy chief. Brian Fuox is part of my PIO division as well, and I could not do this without them, Brian Fuox or Dalton. They stand behind the curtains most of the time. They put this stuff together for us to do these things, and without them two, this don't happen. They put us out there in the limelight, and one of the things that I ran on was being transparent and being out there to the public. So I'll talk a little bit more about me. We have other people here. We have Chief Galloway and Chief Evans, but at this time I'm going to ask if Chief Evans would come up here and give a little conversation. When he talks, Chief Galloway's going to talk I'll talk a little bit. They'll take questions and answers. We won't talk very long. I know time is essential for a lot of people. We'll be brief, and thank y'all for showing up tonight, though. If you need it, hold it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Rick Evans. I'm the chief of the City of Kingsland Police Department. I'm actually mad at the sheriff because he invited us to this months ago. I was in his office today and he didn't tell me I was speaking. But I've been here at Kingsland. July the 7th will be 3 years. I've been the city police chief. Prior to that, I served in Glenn County as the assistant chief of police for 20 years. This is a heartfelt moment because working here in Camden County has really changed the course of my life and my family's life. And I'm not just saying this because of the position that I hold, but the people in Camden County are totally different. This is the best county that I have ever lived in, and I am so proud to live here. I was offered to go back to Glenn County as the chief, and I turned it down. It was a lot more money, but you know what? It's not about the money. It's about being happy. I like it, and my wife, when we first lived on Laurel Parkway, and she went to Walmart, which is her favorite hood, she said, Ricky, I said, what, baby? She said, things are so different here. I said, what do you mean? She said, everybody speaks to you. I said, I noticed that. It's kind of scary, isn't it? But getting back to the law enforcement side, I hope y'all have seen the improvements of the Kingsland Police Department. Me and my command staff have worked very hard to make sure that the officers that serve with Kingsland are really with the citizens, with community engagement and things like that. Training is the main focus that we instill in our troops, because you're never too young or too old to learn, myself included. I stay in school all the time, keeping abreast of everything because the profession is so evolving. It changes. People don't realize this, but the laws aren't made for the good citizens. The laws are made for the criminals, and we have to learn them. But on another note, with this Gen X population, sorry Dalton, wherever you're at, we deal with 90% employees and 10% of the criminal aspect. That's a real hard job, y'all. And retention is the main thing that all agencies are actually having problems with at this time. Fortunately, we're working together, James, Kevin, and I, to keep the salaries pretty much baseline so we can keep those people from jumping to agencies. We're proud to say that we are sponsoring a police academy starting July the 8th at Coastal Pines Technology. It's going to be 50 cadets from the surrounding counties that will be here locally, so y'all will see faces and uniforms and things like that in the community, which is a good thing. Our partnership and working together has been so good. I was off Friday, and I called them early Friday morning. James, you available for a call? Yes, I am. Kevin, you available for a call? Kevin's always last because he's late. So anyways, even though I was off, we were still working, trying to make things better. And that actual call was dealing with our SROs. We were trying to get a plan formalized so that the SROs can work and communicate better so we can look out for the kids and the staff of these schools. Now, we have a great partnership with the Board of Education, Superintendent Green, and the new Security Director, Kizzy Knight. And we've had meeting after meeting, and things are going to be great. Y'all have got some good things to see coming in the future. But on another note, the partnership with Kevin and James, us working the JCAT task force and things like that, they're really putting a dent into the drug world. Y'all will be surprised at the overdoses that we have in Camden County. I mean, it is phenomenal. Fentanyl is on the rise for it. Kevin's guys, James' guys, my guys and girls, their guys and girls, we have been making so many drug arrests, it's unbelievable. And you have to realize we're right between Jacksonville and Brunswick. You know, Charlton County, there's a lot of fentanyl coming from there. We know that. The drug team, they've been working their butts off, and they have been doing a phenomenal job. Kevin and I, that's how we met. A little short story. Kevin and I, he worked for DEA, I worked for McIntosh County Sheriff's Office as a sergeant with narcotics. We had a big concentrated patrol. That's where the units get together, and we jump out on the drug dealers in their prospective drug trading areas. So I came up with the bright idea of Trojan horse, but the Trojan horse was a U-Haul truck. So we all got in the back of the U-Haul truck. It was about 150 degrees, and the former chief deputy of McIntosh, Franklin Hunter, was the driver, and he had no driving skills. So we were bouncing around in the back of the truck. So we would jump out on drug dealers, and we would make the arrest and things like that. And Kevin and I established a bond. We started working together all the time. He would give us information. We'd relay information back to each other, and we developed a friendship. I put in for the position of Kingston Police Department when they had selected former Chief Robert Jones. I came in second. Robert had more experience than me. I was a lieutenant at Glenn County. When Robert said he was leaving, I got a phone call. Said, hey, you need to put in for the Kingsland Police Department. I said, man, I tried that one time. I'm not doing that again. He says, no, you really need to put in. That was my best friend, Kevin Cheney. I am so proud to work with him and James and the rest of the staffs of all of our departments, because we have one common goal, and that's Camden County. And y'all, the drug dealers, the criminals, if they're going to come to Camden County, come get you some, and we'll show you. But other than that, if y'all have any questions for me, I'll be here. Or if you want to ask me now, I'll be more than happy to answer. But I'm proud to be a resident of Camden County, and I think that the future is very broad for us, and things are going to be amazing.
Well, I thought I was doing right going second, but he just covered everything just about I was going to talk about. I'm like, well, that shot that, because nobody wants to go first, right?
No.
So I hate to correct the sheriff in public, but he said he's glad we were here. We don't have a choice. He knows what we drive. So, yeah, we're going to be here. Real quick, I will echo a couple of things Chief Evans said there. I started my career in '99 here with the city of Kingsland. But before I got into policing, I worked out at Gilman Paper Company and thought I could do some shrimping. So I went out throwing a cast net, messed up my wrist, and I'm creeping back into the dock. There stands this little 5-foot deputy. He said, you all right? And I said, my wrist is hurting. Can I check your cooler? Well, he checked my cooler, and then he couldn't do nothing but laugh. There was hardly nothing in there. He said, you better stick to working at that paper mill. So Kevin and I have been friends a long time since then, and throughout our careers, one of our goals had always been all three agencies working together. Circumstances, people, things got in the way. But one thing that we have accomplished now with the three of us in the positions that we're in, because it's not about us, it's about the citizens. We are able to pull that off. This is the first time we've had a task force, if I ain't wrong, Kevin, with all three agencies represented on it, with some more stuff coming. Not only the drug task force, but our internet crimes against children. We have a lot of members on that task force that take that job very seriously. So I'm not going to rehash what all Ricky said. Dalton, if you could help me out a little bit. 4th of July is coming up in St. Mary's. That's our biggest festival. We tried something a little new last year that we're going to do again because it worked really well. We have a lot of traffic, a lot of people for the fireworks. So at 9 o'clock on July 4th, Dilworth Street will turn into one-lane traffic. Both lanes will head the same direction to Point Peter and Dilworth. We'll have a car blocked off so nobody can come off of 40 and turn on Dilworth. The side streets for Burrell and Nancy will be blocked off right there. The week of the 4th, we'll be handing out, we're going to call them reentry passes, just a little pass that we know that's a resident of that area because the bridge is out, if anybody hadn't heard. So that's the only way to get in and out of there. They will be allowed to get back in. And then if you're coming from downtown and you decide to take like Reddy Street and hit Meeting Street, when you come off Meeting Street, it'll be coned. So that parking lane will be no vehicles in that parking lane. You can drive in that parking lane until it turns into the 4-lane right there on Osborne. So you'll have 4 lanes of traffic doing nothing but coming out of town. And I think it was around 15 or 20 minutes we had downtown empty last year. It moved really well. So we're going to give that shot again. Just for a reminder for people that fish, because I know we're live streaming too, on the 3rd at 7 a.m. till about 9:30, the Meeting Street boat ramp will be closed so we can load the barge with the tubes that shoot. On the morning of the 4th, about that same time, they'll be loading fireworks, so the boat ramp will be closed for just that couple hours, and then on the morning of the 5th, they'll be unloading the tubes about that same time frame. There'll be digital billboard signs and all that up to kind of keep everybody reminded and on track in case the times change for whatever reason. But a lot of good things are going on, and I'm sure Sheriff's going to touch on it. It's just still hard to call him sheriff, but he is. I'm sure he'll touch a lot more in depth on what we did, but if folks could only actually see how well everybody's working, and the three of us getting along helps that drift right on down to the new hires that get along. We're seeing a lot of cooperation on the street between all the patrol officers, and I'll tell you this, not because they sitting there or because we're having a public meeting, but there's not been a single time that myself or my people have called and reached out to help to either agency that we didn't get it. We didn't get it, because everybody's got the same goal in this career, is that you're going home at the end of the day. That's what you're going to do. So I'll turn it over to Sheriff. I know he likes to talk. He likes attention. Please give him plenty of attention.
I am not a talker, and I do not like the attention. I like to be behind the scenes, but they want to talk about me. I mean, they didn't say anything about them, what they've done to me over the years, so I'll let that be, because some things are probably not, statute of limitations not ran out yet. And I hate how I put them in jail tonight. Some other guests that showed up, some people I missed. Sean Boatwright, our county manager back there, county administrator, he's here. Cody Smith is here, Board of Commissioners. Christian is here. She's the PIO for the county. Ben Casey, the chairman for the Board of Commissioners. Terry Smith, which is our fire chief. Martin Turner, Board of Commissioners. And Joey Yacoba, which is over planning and building for the county. Hey, Joey. I know you're in the back. Y'all come on in. Y'all have a seat. Don't be scared. I'm up here in front of everybody, and we live streaming too. You know, as we talk, it's not about me. It's not about them. It's about everybody in this room, because I work for everybody in this room. Y'all put me in this office to do a job, and that's to serve and protect you. 4 things I'm supposed to do in law enforcement in general: arrest the bad guy, protect the good guys, be accountable to the citizens I work for, and be a good steward of taxpayers' money. And that's my goal. That's what we're going to do in my office. And over the years of collaborating with them and working with them, knowing how they do things, you know, either I'm working for Ricky or I'm working with James or working with them, that bond is there. It's been there for years. And when we was talking about when I was running and finally coming in office, the bond that we build, and here we are together. This is the first time this has ever happened. We have 2 police chiefs and a sheriff in Camden County sitting in the same room at the same time, willing to take information or take questions from the public. And that's key, because that's never happened. And this is going to continue. Our relationship is there. It's going to continue to build and build and build. So I echo what they said. Beware if you come to Camden County and think you're going to do some kind of crime and get away with it. It's not going to happen. We've all worked in all aspects of law enforcement, either investigations, patrol, whatever it may be. And my heart lies in investigations and in the drug trade, because I did that for a long time. And so that's where we will prioritize a lot of things, because the root of all evil is drugs. You start with drugs, that's where everything else is going to pan out from that. A little bit about me. It's not about me, but I was born in Fort Benning, Georgia in 1970. I was born to, my dad was in the United States Army, so I'm an Army brat. We moved here to Camden County in 1980. I graduated Camden County High School. After high school, I joined the Army myself. I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in the 82nd Airborne Division for a few years. I left the military in pursuit of law enforcement. This is my passion, to serve the citizens of this county where I'm from. And it was very, you know, watching my dad grow up, you know, being in service. And then he was also a police officer for a short time in Cairo, Georgia. And seeing that how he puts the community first, that's what I felt like I needed to do. And then when we moved here, he was athletic director for many years here in Camden County with our youth. Help our youth grow up, playing softball, playing baseball, playing football, whatever it may be. And I saw how that was, and that inspired me to get into law enforcement as well. And so I came here started working at the Sheriff's Office in 1995, worked inside the jail for a few years, went to Patrol Division, then was assigned to the DEA Task Force in Savannah, Georgia, where I moved to. I moved up there and lived there for 5 years. During those 5 years, I met my wife at a college function one night, and she changed my mind with going DEA full-time. She said, "Kevin, I'm not traveling all over the country for you and raising our kids." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm going to come home." My wife just recently retired as a nurse, a floor nurse for 23 years. She is done being a nurse. She had a passion for it, but it was time for her to walk away from it, and she retired. I have a 17-year-old son that's a senior in high school this year, and he is a Wildcat, and so am I. True and true Wildcats. I have another son that's 20 years old, and he's in college right now. He's studying environmental science. After a few years after I came back home, worked with the task force, starting a local task force here in Camden County as far as drugs. It wasn't really a task force. It was more or less the sheriff's office doing drug work in Camden County, and kind of progressed to other things. And I always said, let's work together. And James come on board, and we started working together as he was the captain over CID when I was the major over CID. And we built that bond even more so, but then just things never fell out where the cities could never get on that same level of playing ground as we were. And so that was something that we made a commitment to, and if I was ever to be in this position, they was in those positions that we'd work together. And that's who we are. All right, let's go to the next screen if there's another screen. So you can follow along inside the book. I have my staff, our staff, because they work for you too. They're very professional. They have a heart like nobody else. It's a family atmosphere. It's a culture that you have to change inside that to bring that family atmosphere in there, and that's what we're doing. It takes time, but we're getting there, and they had the will to serve this community. The other day that they was in there laughing and joking, and something you ain't heard in a while. I have not heard that. I worked for that sheriff's office for 28 years before I left or decided to run, and but it's hear the laughter, the cutting up, the joking, but being on it's time to be serious, they're serious. And sometimes in a 12-hour shift, a deputy or police officer goes through so much trauma, get off work, same thing with a dispatcher. Dispatchers sitting behind a desk can't see nothing, but hear everything. They go through so much trauma, they go home at nighttime, they come back to work the next day. They have to forget about what happened yesterday and continue moving forward to today. That's dedication to the citizens of Camden County. That's a drive like any other. You can't make that. That's a drive inside somebody's, that's a heart. Somebody has a heart to want to do that job and will fulfill a dream sometimes. We've accomplished a lot of things over the year. This past 6 months, it's been a very eventful 6 months. We have a long ways to go, a lot of things to still do, but with your help, the citizens, and my staff, and Ricky and James, we're going to get there. Just bear with us and give us some leeway. Please, I invite you to come to my office and let's talk. Next slide. Before I go further, I have wrote some notes down, so I'm going to talk about real fast. Like Ricky said, so we're going to send 5 to the police academy this year in July, so 5's going. It's sponsored by Kingsland Police Department. That's the cost savings to us to have an academy here. If I was to send this to Savannah or Forsyth, you're looking at about $1,000 a week per student just for housing and food. Well, so the way I figured it, roughly $20,000 that us agencies are saving the taxpayers to send them to the police academy. When we have that academy here, that's cost savings to you, the people of Camden. It's on further down. I don't know if my flow chart's in here or not, but my flow chart, I restructured my flow chart to help try to cut down on some of the budget stuff. We use some drug dealers' money, so when we seize money from off the streets from drug dealers, we use that to buy equipment to put back into use for the sheriff's office. I'm sorry y'all couldn't hear me. Thank you. And being on a task force like that, so I might buy a piece of equipment today, next week they'll buy a piece of equipment, next week they'll buy a piece of equipment. So we share that equipment we use, that we buy, that we get from drug dealers. We share that information, share that equipment. Recently just completed a full audit of my evidence room. It's never been done at the sheriff's office, so the sheriff's office has been here forever. It's never been done, so I had just done a full audit of the sheriff's office evidence room. I do not have the final report yet. It will be here in 2 weeks. I use drug dealer money to do the audit, and so I will know what's inside that evidence room. Just recently hired a new jail training officer. Comes with years of experience. If you notice on our website, you'll see that we have some new jail training recently where they collaborated together. The whole jail went through the whole training. There's plenty more still to come. It was a big deal because the system that we have in place was not really working the way it should. And by having this trainer come in and some of the ITs working together, we have a system in place that's working slowly, getting the booking and the releasing of inmates better and more capable for the citizens. Stop sticks to help out with pursuits to end them peacefully and safely. I know when I first took over office, I suspended the pursuit policy. We did some training on that, policy review, policy revamp is back into place again. We can't ever stop chasing. You ever stop chasing them, they're going to just keep running and running. The bad guys are not going to ever stop for you. But we put in place procedures in place that they have to follow and be held accountable for as well. We just recently had one this weekend, peaceful stop or a peaceful pit, if you want to call it a peaceful pit. Nobody was hurt, no injuries, no damage to any vehicles, and the person went to jail. We bought some body shields for the deputies, so everybody on patrol, at least the shift supervisor has a full shield for body armor in case they ever get into an incident. I know back in January the 8th, we had an active shooter incident here in Camden County, and they was hiding behind vehicles and everything else. Well, with the shield, that's going to help a little bit better too. We're working on this year's budget, adding body-worn cameras to the jail. So you're going to see jailers will actually start wearing body cameras inside of the jail to actually show what we're doing inside the jail when there's an incident inside that jail. I want to make sure we are as transparent as much as possible. We're providing tests for promotions now. Used to you just come in for an interview and that was it. You got to have a test. I want to know what your skill level is in order to just, you can't just be say, hey, in an interview, you like that person, he's going to get promoted. What's your skill level at? What do you do on a test? And do some scenario based with that as well. Working on a peer support program with the county. That's been in the works for about 2 months. We still got to work some things out, but the county and the sheriff's office are collaborating together to form a peer support program for those incidents like you go on shift for 12 hours, come back, they want some decompression. Well, they have a place to decompress with the peer support program through the county. Also, the state is going to come in and have an individual with the state that's going to actually come in and help out as well to do some more state peer support program. Yes, ma'am.
Boone Avenue. Is there anything that can be done about the speedsters on Boone Avenue from time to time who I know does not stop at the stop sign, as well as some of the vehicles with the, loud mufflers or whatever it is. It's just ridiculous. Sometimes I wish I had a grenade.
We don't need a grenade. But just to reiterate on that, yes, ma'am, that is duly noted, and I'll make sure I get the patrol commander's attention in the morning, and we will have some officers out there, I promise you, tomorrow. We're actually in the middle of putting flock cameras into the city of Kingsland because that's how strong we are on crime. And that could be something that I have to look into, but I just have to figure out what I can do to supplement the cost for that area. But let me start with putting the officers out there first, and we'll see how it works from there.
Every night between 9 and 11, I know 2 trucks in particular that come by my house, and the windows in my house literally rattle. And I know every night at 9, I don't need that sort of thing. I know every night when 9 o'clock comes, and I can tell you the color of it, and I can tell you what's on the bike of it. I just can't get that license plate number. But I know what they look like, and I know what they do. I just need to be license plate number.
Thank you.
Sheriff, if anybody has a question, if you'll take the mic, this is being streamed on YouTube. Without taking the mic, they can't hear the question. Thank you.
The last thing before we switch pages is we're collaborating with the school system to make sure our kids are safe. We've had a couple of different meetings offline since school's been out. All of us are working, all three, both chiefs and me, we're working together with the school, make sure that that's a priority for our kids. Over the years, you see all the different aspects and the violence inside the schools. Well, we're working to improve that on our safety feature, and also helping out with bringing some educational programs that we, law enforcement, can bring inside the school as well. Page 4 on your quarterly report, we'll go to activity charts, year to stats. If you can look at different stats from January all the way to June, you'll see different, the top one's the rest. It's up, January was 62, and June we're down to 48. Tickets were 99 written, in June it's 309. Booking is 167, that's how many inmates came into jail back in January. In June we're up to 174. Releases back in January 198. June is 124. Service calls 12,773 in January. As of so far this month is 10,800 or 10,672. Papers served 566. As of June now is 456. Accidents back in January started at 21. Is down a little bit in June to 15 so far. And verification of sex offenders is 19 in January. And now in June it's up to 113. We have 101 sex offenders. I'll be on that page. Yes, we have 101 sex offenders, and you'll see 113. That's when you see that stats, because they've been, if they go not there, they're going to verify. They're going to go back and just call back on the radio. So it's coming off our CAD system. Some other stats on the other side is, let me go back to the jail for a minute. When I left this afternoon, the jail population was 156, Eric. That's high for us. We've been averaging around 130. Over the past month, it's kind of jumped up a little bit. Summer months, school's out, you're going to have our crime is going to always go up. It'll fluctuate back out towards the end of summertime, and it'll start going back down. Charges, some of the highest categories: suspended license, arrest warrants, DUIs, speeding, and drug possession. Training classes for the month of April, we had 15 classes, 30 attend. May we had 25 classes, 217 attend. So far in June, we had 20 classes, 71 to attend. My office roughly supposed to have 152 staff, and probably right around 104, roughly 138, I believe. We're still short staffed a little bit. Immigrations encounters, we've had 17 contacts. We've released 4 subjects to ICE. And if you follow us on social media, you'll see how busy Marine Patrol is. It usually starts after May 28th or Memorial Day weekend, and really picks up for us for the boating season. But prior to that, it's busy nonstop. A couple years ago, this program for the Marine Division was established, and they're capable of a lot of different things. We also do a mission with the support the mission of the sub base too, and so we stay busy with that and stay busy on the waterways. So if you're out there on the waterways, please don't drink and drive the boat, and make sure you're aware of your surroundings. And if you're going to drive at nighttime, be careful of the buoys out there. Some of those buoys you may not see, so make sure you're cognizant of where you're at. Service calls, E911, 76,236. KSO calls for service, 23,269. All law enforcement calls, 73,910. We'll go back to ICE for just a minute. So ICE, I have an officer inside, a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer inside my office. He's assigned here. He has an office space. He does a lot of work there. That's a benefit to me. If we run across any kind of issues that we may need to tackle or gravitate to, he's there for any questions or answers, and he actually comes out there with us and helps us do what we need to do. If it is somebody that on the interstate that is coming through and they are illegal and they're part of the program, they take them straight from usually I might house them for one night, then the next day they're gone to a transition center, and a lot of times it's going over to the old DOA James prison, which is now being implemented into the new ICE facility, which is going to be the largest in the United States, over 3,000 inmates they'll be able to hold. Next slide. Captain Prescott, he snuck in. He's in the back corner back there, but I can't say enough about Captain Prescott. He's, and even story about him, we used to play football together back in high school. And I remember I was played offensive line, he was a defensive linebacker, and he hit me one night, or one day in practice, and he rubbed his finger in my face and some other stuff he did to me. So I just want to say, I appreciate that, Rusty. I ain't forgot about it. Even though it's been over 40 years ago, I haven't forgot. Rusty's done an excellent job with Patrol Division. He, when he took over that division, it was very short. He was working 3-2 a shift. I believe we're up to 5-2 a shift now, Rusty, and you still have 4 in FTO, field trained officer. They do a tremendous job. That's who you see out there every day. You see them on the streets patrolling, riding call to call to call. And without his leadership and his expertise, that we can't do this. We do not succeed. So when I say we're a team. We don't do something by ourselves. So Rusty, I appreciate that. You're going to notice cars throughout the county, parked in different locations throughout the county. I'm going to tell you right now what we're doing. We're tackling hot spots. So you may have a complaint of some speeders in a location. We start off at Harris Bluff. When I first took over office, we had a car parked out there. There was nobody in that car. Just that for like 2 days, nobody in the car trying to slow people down. Next day, on day 3, somebody's sitting in that car. They start writing tickets or writing warnings. I like to try to give you a warning, but if you're going to continue to speed and I catch you the second time or third time, you're going to probably get a citation. Please slow down on those roads. Speed kills you. Dover Bluff is another target spot. Clark's Bluff Road, Browntown Road, Highway 40. You're going to see cars, a sheriff's office car parked somewhere out there, and it may or may not be somebody sitting in that car, so just beware. I'm just giving you all a full warning, and people listening at home, beware. Civils and warrants. Scott Shalhoub has been with us for many years, and he has done an excellent job. He started off as a dispatcher, moved over to the warrants division, started learning the way of how to do civil papers, and that's a big part of a sheriff's mandate. There's laws and mandates that a sheriff has to do, and one of those things is civil papers that we have to send out on a daily basis. I can't tell you how many papers come in on a daily basis. But I will tell you, since January to now, we processed over 18,000 warrants and civil papers. That's a ton of papers, and this has 4 serving papers and transports and 2 doing the input inside. So papers come in from clerk of court, they come over to our office or magistrate court or whatever court it comes from, it comes to us, they put all the information and it goes out. It may go into a hot file, or it could be real possessions, it could be any numbers of TPOs or whatever it may be, they're sending those out. And 1,800 is a lot of warrants and civil papers. We have updated 960 active warrants and protective orders on file. We have 77 arrears of possessions, lockouts this year. That's a lot of lockouts here in Camden County. And we've done 134 transports, and that's not just transporting prisoners to another county. That's also mental health transport, which is not funded by the state. That comes out of our money that we have to send mental health patients to another facility. And we completed 210 background checks. Next slide. Eric Watson. Eric's been with us a while too. Worked his way up through the jail, and also is a former Marine. Me and him pick on each other because he's Marine, I'm Army. But he has done an excellent job inside the jail. When I took over office, I think he was probably worried about his where he would be at, but he has done a great job. You're safe, Eric. I want you to know you can relax. Eric's done a great job for me. He come to me and asked me about new initiatives and things he can do inside the jail he never had opportunity to do. And one thing was the G-Pod, which was built back in 2011. It was used as a storage building until 2025, February of this year. So all those years it sat back there as a storage building. He asked, can we open that up and put inmates in there? That's going to free up about 45 beds. I said, absolutely, let's make it happen. So that was January. By mid-February, it was open. we have that new pod open and serving us to help us free up bed space inside there. That's a new facility. The old part of the jail is, it's rough. It needs a lot of fixing, but we're working on that with a new jail hopefully in the future. But G-Pod has been a big improvement for us. New training. He brought in, not only with the new training officers come in, he's also implemented other training aspects inside the jail, which has been a benefit to us. There's more hands-on, more de-escalation inside there, and that's always a positive thing. Also, we're looking at enhancing our phones and video system, or video service. We looked at doing tablets inside the jail, and what this tablet does, it goes to every inmate. So when you get inside our jail, you're going to stay inside our jail for a period of time. You will be issued a tablet. That tablet has a variety of things it can do for you. It can give you GED classes or help you take GED classes. It has mental health programs on there. It has games on there. It has movies on there. It has a variety of things. You can even talk to your family on there. There's certain security features on there that helps block out certain things, but it's a benefit to me and my staff because that interaction cuts interaction in half by sitting in a day room, playing cards or doing nothing. Just, if you don't see in the back, but I do. The inmates sit there, they have nothing to do. They get, some rec time, but that's just not enough. But they have some kind of stress or relief. They can release that stress out. A tablet sitting there, it's going to cut it in half. I talked to a sheriff when I first took office. He had the tablet implemented in his jail. He walked in one day, talked to the jailer in the rear pod. Hey, where's all the inmates at? He said, Sheriff, we done fed them lunch, and they went back in the room. He said, back in the room? He said, yes, sir. So he walked in the block, started looking around. They're playing on their tablets. The use of forces and the interactions was cut in half, and everybody was happy. So why not do that? And so we're going to move forward with that. It's in the process. We're probably about 90 days out from that taking effect. The other thing is you also can streamline church service through that, too. That's a big positive. Next slide. Jamie Townsend, she's not here tonight. She oversees the sex offenders with Mike Walker, the captain. Like I said earlier, we have 101 sex offenders. That's too many in Camden County. I wish we had 0. But we have 101. They check on them. By law, we're supposed to check on them once, or they're supposed to come in and check in once a year. By law. I require my deputies to go out there every month and verify where they're at, where they live at, where they work at, and make sure they're in the right spot where they're supposed to be at. On my watch, I'm not going to have a sex offender reoffend and hurt a child. That's just not going to happen. So I want to make sure I know where they're at, so they stay busy with that. They're out there every month checking on sex offenders. That's not going to stop. Debbie Gordon, she's actually in Key West this week. She's probably listening right now and enjoying the beach weather down there, but she's probably watching us on video because she's very dedicated to this job. She has a tough job, probably one of the toughest jobs in the office. That's budget. Who wants to deal with budget throughout the year? Hey, I need this. Don't have the money. Nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. She's very particular about how we spend things and what we do with our money, which I admire that because I want that. Tell me no, I can't get that. Tell me what can we do to get this? You got to do this, this, and this. That's what we do. She keeps us in check with our budget. Why? Because we have supposed to be good stewards of taxpayers' money. My budget for this year, once it's approved and passed, I'm looking at $12,935,000 roughly. So that's this year's. Last year's was $12,994,000. I'm going to be under budget from last year's by $59,000. So I've cut the budget by $59,000. It's not much, but to me, that's a lot of money that I've cut and saved for the taxpayers. And hopefully throughout the year, we can even cut more throughout the year. One big part about coming into outside this office, I know I'm dragging on James, and I know you looked at me. I don't like to talk, but I do like to talk. The good thing is, I want to work with the commissioners and I want to work with the county administrator. That was a big part. On a weekly or monthly basis, we're talking back to each other, Christian, Sean, we'll talk to each other. We'll do different things. I had a cookout. They come over and hang out with a cookout. They go out to lunch, whatever it may be. That's something that I want to make sure continues to happen, because without their support, we don't survive either, and we don't work good either. I know in the past, and I don't like relive in the past, there's always been some kind of friction. That friction is gone now. There's not going to be a friction with us. Yeah, do I want to try to get money and try to get things up here? Absolutely, but I'm going to do it the right way. Make sure, hey, every T is crossed and every I is dotted. Make sure we do it the right way. And, you know, working with the commissioners and the chairman and all that has really been a blessing to me to see how this budget process works with my first budget, and really getting my hands dirty and getting inside there and, you know, sitting there, hey, you can't have this, or you can have this, or hey, how can we compromise? And that's how we work. That's how we get things done the right way. And Debbie was a big asset for us, getting that done for us throughout the year, just like every division captain is. Every division captain has to come up with a budget, and it starts usually January, February timeframe. We turn it into Debbie. She has to put it on a spreadsheet, and it goes up to the county. So every individual officer, deputy, civilian employee inside the office has a touch or a say inside that budget, and that's key. Next slide. Internet crimes against children. This is another collaborative effort with the cities. You know, being part of JCAT, JCAT don't just do drug work, they do a variety of things too. They help out with all types of cases inside the CID realm. And this year we had two pretty big ones with ICAC crimes. I think the David Adrian was one of the biggest in Camden County, which Kingsland was a big part of that. Well, ICAC tip came in through Kingsland, and they started running with it. We jumped on board with them, and it just flowed from there. And it's a very pretty big case. Same thing with Christian Jones is another big case. NCIS is very vital to us too, and a lot of times the Navy they work with us hand in hand and help support us on these ICAC tips, and so does the FBI. We have a good partner relationship with the FBI, but we work great together on these cases. And these crimes, it's hard to talk about sometimes, because knowing what some of these people do and what they want to try to do, and how they know that we're out there watching them, know that we're doing this, and they still want to chat with us on the phone and tell us certain things on the phone or show us certain pictures. It's hard. And I know years ago, we did an ICAC case. James was a part of this. Ricky was still in Brunswick. We did an ICAC case here in Kingsland with the FBI, and was calling people to come up. And they thinking they was coming to meet with a 12-year-old girl. Well, the guy was on the phone, and she was talking about, yeah, it's just me and my brother and little brother's here. My mom had to go off, so I got 5 hours to kill. Okay, how old's your brother? He's 3. Okay, I got somebody for him. So that's pretty hard for these deputies to have to deal with sometimes, knowing what these people are capable of and what they want. And then when you try to interview them, and you got 3 in the room, you interview them, I ask them what their address is, tell them the next person, what's your address? Same address as that, and the third one, same address. There's 9 of them living in the same house together, so it's hard. But knowing us, collaborating together, that's a big priority for us. Public information, Dalton Vernax. If you take just a look at all these different types of engagements, over 70,000 engagements, 20 events, Champs graduation. Every Friday morning at 8 o'clock I do Felony Friday, and Dalton gets me the information. The hiring fairs at Camden County High School, Career Day Fair at St. Mary's Middle School and Mary Lee Clark. Those events and all the different social media stuff that he puts out, and working together with Christian from the county and Brian, I can't say enough, because those 3 working together during bad situations or good situations you can't ask for a better team. I've always been a person, I'm going to put the good and the bad out, and when something bad happens, it's going to go out. And we had something bad, not real bad, but it was bad enough it could hurt a business, and we put something out. Hey, I apologize for that. It was our fault, our bad. But we'll make sure the public knows what we do right and what we do wrong, and I'm going to be held accountable by you. That's the people that I work for. collaboration is, I can't talk. The collaboration is there. It's going to always be there. It's not going to stop. This is what we're good for. This is why I wake up in the morning time. I got Mike. I don't stand behind the podium either. So we're going to continue to work together. We're going to do what's right for you. I'm asking your employee, please, if I'm not doing something right, come hold me accountable. Come to my office. Come talk to me. Come talk to any of us. You'll see us. We're always together. Come have a cup of coffee in my office and tell me what I'm doing good or what I'm doing bad. How can I make this county better? Because it's not about me. It's about everybody in this room and all the 58,000 people in Camden County. And this county is growing. It's going to get bigger. And I need support from you to help this county be better. Your support helps me do my job the right way, helps us as a team, because there's no I in team. It's all about us. All these deputies and officers and the county commissioners, and it's all one big team. And we work for you to make this county better. Please, anytime you want to come to my office, please come to my office. One thing I would touch on, I did get being that we're so close to sub base, I know we had open record requests this week from News Channel 12, I think. I have gotten some information. I am in contact with the base. I'm in contact with the FBI, GEMA, FEMA. Georgia Sheriff Association sent something out about working with Homeland Security. Some threat levels have went up. We're elevated here. My deputies are do extra patrol around this area, around the base, days, nights, look for any kind of suspicious activity. I ask you too, if y'all see something, say something. Call 911. You see something just don't look right, call 911. Let us come check it out. Don't try to approach anything. Let us come take care of that situation if it's something that way. We live in a strange world nowadays. The man upstairs, the good Lord, is going to take care of everybody. So I appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. I know everybody has a busy schedule in this world. And thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. My door's always open. And now we'll open up for questions. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Evans, where is the police station in Kingsland?
111 South Seaboard Street. If you're looking at City Hall, it's the block next right behind it.
So the building that faces the railroad track?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is that on Boone?
That is the substation. Our building's so small we had to divide our people up.
Okay, because if someone is following me, that's where I want to lead them to.
Bring them on.
Thank you.
So for all three of you, my name is Nick. I'm the vice president of Military Fire Cops Motorcycle Club here in Camden County. Speaking on the topic of the budget, I know you spoke on having to do some cuts and compromises. Are there any programs that are specifically hurting or lacking, or places where the community can reach out and help out and get involved in any sort of way?
You come see me at 563 Point Peter Road for information. Sorry, sir.
No, anything to do with anything to do with our youth, that's where I would direct you to, because youth is the future, and if there's something that we can help with the youth, directed that way, that's where I would guide you to. Oh, yeah. There is Kingsland Police Department is having a Cops and Cupcakes July 26th at Lions Park in Kingsland. It's a meet and greet and backpack giveaway from 11 to 2.
And we are gladly accepting donations.
The DFW will take care of your, we'll bring you all the food and drink you need.
All right, he took my question. But first of all, I just want to congratulate you all for coordinating, because whenever you like who you're working with, that really does make a difference. Even the coordination with the board. I think historically in Camden and many other areas, we as citizens can't prosper because our leaders can't get along. So I congratulate you all for that. Secondly, I want to just follow up on the youth. Being a youth here in Camden County, there's not a lot to do. a lot of idle minds, a lot of misbehavior at a very young age, starting at elementary. So anything that you all can do to reinforce the youth, intervene before they get to the point of getting on drugs, making all these mistakes and errors and getting into the system, that is very much appreciated.
One thing we're going to look at next year inside the sheriff's office, and we're going to try and include both PDs too, is either some type of Explorer program or a camp for kids during the summer months. And that's a topic that we're going to look at and try to address. It's budgetary items, so there's a lot of things. We're going to have to take a lot of donations for that too, but it'd be a good program for the kids to be able to come there Monday through Friday, get to see what we do, kind of hang out with the officers, the police officers, the deputies, and have a good day. So that's something we're going to look towards next summer.
Thank you, and we'll help.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll stand up. Sheriff Cheney just, he wasn't blowing smoke because I had him at my house last Monday. I called him out off of Union Carbide Road, that way out the country, because we got an uptick in off-road vehicles, ATVs, golf carts on a 55-mile-an-hour road, and they're driving 20. And it's become a problem because of the readily accessible, cheap ATVs out here. It is unlawful for these folks to be out here, and the sheriff did come out. We went down to Deep Creek Bridge, which is out further out toward Cabin Bluff on Union Carbide. You know, we've had people coming out there racing on the weekends. During the week, I bet you right out there right now, you'll find ATVs out there in the roadway. And I appreciate the sheriff coming out, and he did come. He canceled a meeting on me, and then he said, well, I'll come to your house the second time. So thank you, Sheriff. Thank you.
Yep. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure we're going to try to, can't be everywhere, but we're going to try to be.
Yeah, I was just curious if you, if any of the departments here had ever done a Citizens Police Academy.
We have, and we have one coming up, Dalton. August of this year.
Oh, August? Okay.
We have one coming up in August.
I did one in Jacksonville with Jack's Beach, so.
Yep, we have
It
one.
was really good.
Yep. So August will be our Citizens Academy for the Sheriff's Office. Anything else? Keisa? Good deal. Thank you. I can start spending money on July 1st. Where's the fire chiefs? Yes, ma'am.
When do you decide to outsource or ask for help with some of the many unsolved murders, missing persons, unclaimed remains cases that we have in our county?
Depends on what the case is and how long they are. GBI will be the person. A lot of times GBI is right there hand in hand with us. So if it's something needs to go out, then we'll refer it to GBI. And also working with the DA's office is not something that needs to be outsourced. If it's out, if it goes across lines or whatever it may be. So
has there been any movement like with Drury or Glover cases?
Is that Emily?
Hall or Bennett?
Me and James both work. Okay, James answered that.
Yeah, we actually made an arrest and charged the gentleman on the Emily Drury murder. Mm-hmm. He was out of Savannah. He was a serial rapist that his DNA came back through CODIS, and how we got his hit. Unfortunately, before we could go to trial for him, he committed suicide in jail. Okay. So Emily was solved.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's done. We actually me and James actually went up to Jackson State Prison to do an interview with him up there too. So.
And for most of them, the point of contact is going to be through GBI?
No, it'd be through us, through the sheriff's office. In the Glover case, I believe that one's, didn't they just pump out we did some water, I'll let Ricky talk about that.
The Glover case is still currently active. We have never stopped working it. That was one of my goals when I became chief at Kingsland, to work the unsolved cases, the one actually on the corner of 40 and William Street as well. There's been a lot of new eyes looking into it. We have some suspects in the double homicide at 40 and Williams, but on the Glover case, we're currently actively working that.
And you mentioned programs and things. We're asking about youth and things like that. So are you saying that right now you have in your budget dollars that you are going to steer towards programs for
next summer.
for next summer?
Next summer.
Okay.
So a year from now.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about some other community type events? Like in some communities, they may have, you know how you got your fire department against the sheriff's departments or something like that.
We're working on something
You
with
have
that
something
too.
like
And Dalton
citizens.
can talk about that.
Oh,
Dalton, if you want to talk
citizens
about
against-
that, Dalton knows about what we're trying to work with fire department, us against each other. Me and the fire chief's supposed to fight each other in a boxing match.
Would you have,
So tug of war stuff.
would you have something similar along those lines for like citizens against officers, like with flag football?
I feel there's a lot of citizens probably won't beat us up.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like, you know, softball games or something, yeah. Not necessarily combat.
Right. Hold on a minute.
Oh,
Somebody else has got it down.
it's all good. How you doing?
Good.
All right, so a lot of those programs that she's mentioning, I actually ran a lot of those over in California, and they are very beneficial. We did our officers versus firefighter, the hose guys. We did a lot of we did a lot of hose drills. We did a lot of track and field events, and we did flag football. It was actually pretty good, but in those same events, we also incorporated all of the citizens that was there, and they it actually turned out pretty good because a lot of the problems that we have is that we need to be able to build those barriers, fill the gaps, and that was one way of breaking the barrier. We actually involved them into a lot of things that we did over there.
Yeah, we're in the initial stages of planning those
Right.
events, so that's something that we can probably incorporate inside the different events, because we talked about softball tournament, flag football, boxing, just different events to help bring the public, come see what we do, come hang out with us, and maybe interject the citizens inside that as well.
The other thing that I wanted to touch on, I understand exactly what you guys go through when it comes to the mental health aspect of what you guys do. I mean, people can't understand exactly what you see on the run of a day and then have to go home and try to sleep, and then you're not getting that sleep because of what you've actually experienced that day. So with that being said, what are we doing to address officers that are having issues or things that's not being addressed or talked about?
So we have, with our EAP, we had those programs. I also had the state program, peer support program, that when we had an incident this year, the state came down here, working with the fire department, working with us. They brought the peer support team out of the state, came down here and talked to our people. They do offline conversations still to this day with some of our officers and stuff. So there's a program. But we're trying to start a program where he has a meeting, and also just being on board with us as well.
Yeah. At your last town hall, you talked about reviving the Camden County Justice Council.
We are.
And to begin to address things like trying to get a mental health court and so on. Have you made progress on that?
There's a little bit. We're working with the DA's office pretty good with that. It's just going to take a little bit longer than we thought it would take. But we are going to have the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council back up. Just don't know when, but that will come back.
Okay, that's a question. Okay. Again, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question. It's pretty redundant. Actually, a couple of my questions have already been answered. You just touched on it already. But one question I have, and I will continue to ask, because we have a lot of ordinances and laws on the books that are outdated, make no sense, need to be looked at. As law enforcement coming together to look at those things that will help continue to make our community better, where we remove those particular hindrances and barriers that absolutely make no sense or present a problem to our community, looking at those antiquated, outdated ordinances or laws in that sense. And I have another one. Agency hopping. What are you looking at? What is being done to address those particular law enforcement personnel in general that have either resigned or been fired from your agencies? That
I
prevents
tell you, if
them.
somebody's been fired from my agency or in their agency, we have not hired those people. They
Well,
have
I'm
not-
going to say, to make sure that they do not carry those issues
Right.
over to other
Right.
agencies.
And we
What
talk.
are you doing about
We
that?
talk on a regular basis, and the AC hopping has to stop, yes.
Yeah, because I noticed that you mentioned this earlier, that you share information, you feeding back to the community so the community knows what's going on. I know you say you use social media, and that's a big one, but other avenues or venues you can use to make sure the community knows what you're doing, what issues or concerns are being addressed, how they're being addressed, so they know that transparency is there, and we can continue to make that communication with law enforcement better.
Absolutely.
That was a question.
So yeah, we are working together, yes. And we will continue to work together and collaborate together, make law enforcement a better place in Camden County, yes. And as far as ordinances, I know the county is working on doing some ordinance and revamping the ordinances and stuff.
What, just to clarify that, putting a committee or something together to look at that. Now, oftentimes, they don't want to include the community or the citizens in it, but it may be a thought to do that. There may be a lot of people who have that ability in the county to aid the citizens looking at those things. Just other eyes.
Yes, sir.
I have one question about your stats.
On page 4.
Can you distinguish between the arrests and bookings?
What's the difference between an arrest and a booking?
So those arrests are just us, just the county, not the two PDs. That's why when you see booking, it might be, they bought all the arrests who are coming in. So that's why only my numbers on there, say June is 48, that's just Camden County Sheriff's Office. That's not the police department. And then when you go down to booking, that's all three agencies. That's what the difference. And these numbers poured in through stats. It might be ICE. It could be ICE that had brought somebody in. That's where those numbers come in from booking and so forth. But the rest numbers just our number.
So bookings include the rest.
Yes. Any other questions? Anything y'all thoughts, concerns? Anything you can help us do better? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I actually have a question about those tablets for the inmates. Will it also have a function where they're able to communicate with jail staff for like requests for service, flying a kite, things of that?
Yeah, there can be grievances on there, so that's another way of tracking grievances to be on there as well. There's other security features on there to keep them from getting certain things, services, help with GED classes, mental health classes, things like that. So that's all on there.
Cool. And I also wanted to mention, as a new commissioner, I thought I was going to be able to solve all of my district issues in a couple of months. It only took me a couple of weeks to realize that wasn't going to be the case. District 3 is kind of unique where we have unincorporated pockets within the municipality of the city of St. Mary's. I just want to say that your office, the increased presence there has been very welcome, so thank you.
Yes, sir. It's a process. We're getting there. I love to have 6 to 7 on patrol. We're at 5 right now. When I took over the office, I believe we had 27 people short. I'm down to 7 vacancies right now. It's a progress. It's always going to be ups and downs, but we're going to get there with the citizens of Camden. So, good night. Thank y'all for taking time out of y'all's busy schedule. Sorry I took y'all so long and talked so much. Please, offline, you want to come to my office, come have a cup of coffee with me and sit and talk with me. I even come to your house if you want me to, and call me. I have some cards up here. Anybody can grab my card. My phone number's on it. Call me or text me. Thank y'all.
There's also refreshments in the kitchen area over here if y'all would like anything.
Yeah, y'all stick around, talk, drink, have some refreshments.